Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm ShyWizard. Going to continue here in part 5, 6. I've lost count. But anyway, this is the grain dryer prefab build to try and get all of these different functions set up using prefab buildings and models and whatever else. So I want to continue on building up the material holder here for the dried grain that will be linking into the actual reg fill types script and all the other parts there. So we have fill planes and particle systems and whatever else for unloading and pipe effect and all that sort of stuff from the silo and all that other bits and pieces. So we need to create the material holder parts to get all that working. So I've come into the Farming Simulator 17 installation folder again, and I'm in the particle systems folder for the effect material holder, and this is where we get all the parts we want to look at. So basing everything around the wheat or barley, I'm just going to be taking out parts from here and then importing that into my own, or the material holder that I'm going to be creating for the dried grain. So a little bit of changes will be required, names and things like that, but most of it will be relatively straightforward because we already have some parts in the actual material holder here for the actual textures. So it's just going to be actually creating the structure for the material holder itself. So what I want to do is just basically recreate what I have in the Giants material holder, the actual material holder from the Farming Simulator 17 installation folder, and then recreate that in my own material holder, I guess. So if I open this one up as well, because I'm going to need to name a few things, create some new transform groups. So if I actually bring up this one and then bring, let's see how can I do this. Let's do it the other way. So let's do that and then bring that one over like that. That's better. So what I need to do is create each of the transform groups here for what I want to put together. So I'm going to need unloading, smoke, I won't need straw or chopper, pipe I'm going to need, belt, leveler, and that should be all I need. Probably don't need to go quite as far as I am with this, but I want to put it together in a particular way. So this is our fill plane, so that's fine, we can leave that where it is. So I'm going to go 1, 2, let's see, 3, 4, 5. So I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm just going to name these. So if I actually make this a bit smaller, there we go, so I can see the attributes window. So this first one is going to be unloading, and I'll just type it in so I can actually have both the windows here open together. And then I want smoke, so this one will be smoke, and then pipe, and belt, and then finally leveler. Like so. Make sure I spelt that right. Yep. Now obviously depending on what you're going to be doing with your, if you're going to follow along in the same kind of plans as I'm doing here, you may not want to potentially have it on a conveyor belt. You might want to, if you're not going to use the tip on ground function, then the leveler is probably not going to be relevant. The smoke is just going to be for certain effects when it comes from the pipe itself, and also for unloading from the trailers or tipper trailers or whatever else, things like that. So you might not want to go quite as far as that, but I'm going to put it together in this particular way. So if I actually let's yeah, okay, I'm going to, how can I do this? It's really important that the camera, let's just do it like this, and I'll just put it at the bottom. The camera always needs to be at the bottom of the material holder, keeping it the same as the original from the Farming Simulator 17 installation, the Giants version of the material holder. because the way that this is actually set up, or needs to be set up, the engine will read the material holder and it will look at all of these and then get to the camera last and ignore it. But if you put the camera at the top, it will see the camera and then it won't know what it's doing, so it will then ignore all of these instead. It will do it the opposite way around. So you've got to make sure the camera's at the bottom. The camera itself doesn't actually serve a purpose other than the fact that it gives us something to look, it gives us a way of seeing within the Giants editor. Otherwise it's not used by anything other than the Giants editor. Hopefully that makes sense. So if I actually save that, and I'll minimize that one down for now. So I'm going to take out the wheat from all of these, and all I'm going to do is here is just highlight all of them. So with the unloading selected, left control, and then we'll choose that one, and I will do let's do what do I want, pipe. So let's do that one, and then I want belt and leveler. So we'll do like so. It should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent. So what I'm going to do is just go File, Export Selection with Files, and I'm going to just put it on my desktop in a new folder for now. Doesn't matter what we call these, to be fair, because they're all going to be renamed anyway. So I'll just call it 1. That's fine, and I'll do the same with this one. And I'll save and no to keep parent directory structure. And I can then close that down and don't save that because that's a Giants version. So if you save it, like I said in one of my previous videos or many of my previous videos, it will break your multiplayer. So just if it asks you, do you want to save the Giants session, say no if you're working with the one from the Farming Simulator installation folder. So if I open up this, then we've got our textures, which we've already got and renamed them, so don't need to mess about with any of that stuff there. And I've also got the shader here. There's fair few different shaders in here, so we're going to need to take all of those. So I'm going to make a copy of those and put them into my shaders folder like so. And then I want to bring over the i3Ds, so I'm going to put them in the fill planes folder here. So I'll just copy them over for now, that's fine. And then we've got some other parts here. Again, that's up to you where you put those. I'll just put them in here for now, that's fine, so it keeps it all together with the material holder. Could put these ones potentially in the shared folder and then link it all together that way, but we'll see how that goes. Might do that, yeah, I think I will actually do that. I'm going to take those from there and then put them in the shared folder, something like that. Okay, so if I close that one down because I don't need that anymore for now, and then what I need to do is basically import these into my material holder, but first of all I need to change the parts to do with the fill planes and stuff like that. So I'm actually going to open this one up in Notepad++ first of all, so that I can change where all of these parts are. What have I got here? So that needs to be gone, and then these ones need to be dried grain underscore diffuse, and then take that, and then this one needs to be dried grain underscore normal. That is going to be in my shared folder, so /shared/ that's going to be // on all of those, because that's telling it to go back a folder and then locate my shaders folder, which will be back here for all of those, so that should be fine. And then all of these other parts I think I'm going to change actually in the i3D. So if I go ahead and save that, and I'll close that down. So if I open this up now, then okay, so Okay, so we have some with our shaders. They have got links to other textures, so we need to fix that. So let's just have a look what we've got here. Grain smoke. Okay, so we want that one to be shared. I'll copy that, save, close that down, and then we want that one to be shared and shared. And all I'm doing here is in the shader itself, just changing the path file name to the correct folder for those textures. That one's okay. Let's see what this one is. No, that's okay. That one should be fine because that was an original. And then these ones as well. So we'll do that and that and save. That one's fine. And that one, not sure. That should be fine. Okay. So now if I check that again, then I should have no errors if I've done that right. There we go, fantastic. So all of these now then are going to be changed over to the dried grain. So if I change all of these, dried grain, and I'm just going to copy that tab, and then we'll just go through all of these. So if I change that and change the fill type, and then this one, and change that, and then this one. You don't have to do the name if you don't want to. The name is just literally that, it's just a name. It can be called whatever you want, but I like to change it so it matches in with everything. We'll do that one, so we'll do these. What I think I'll do is I'll pause here and I'll just do all of these and then I'll come back. Okay, that didn't take too long. So I've now changed all of the names for the actual material holder sections here, and also the fill types themselves. So they should be all now good to go. So if I go ahead and save that, and we'll close that down. So then I'm going to go back into my material holder here that I'm putting together, and I'm just going to import them. So we'll open this up. I'm going to go desktop and grain dryer, fill planes, and bring in that, and then we can go through these and just put them in the appropriate places. So I think I've mentioned this before. If you get to this point, you're not entirely sure which one is which, if you just click on it, look in your user attributes window, it will tell you what material type it belongs to. So this one is for unloading, so I can cut that one with Control X and put it into unloading, and then this one will be for smoke, so I can cut that with Control X, put it into smoke. This one is for pipe, so put that into pipe, and then this one is for belt, cut that, put it into belt, and then this one will be for leveler, so we'll cut that, put it into leveler. So now I should have a good material holder all set up with the correct names and correct fill types that the script will be able to find through the path file name that I set in the mod desk, and then load all of this up to give me my dry grain. So we can go ahead and save that. Now obviously at the moment it's going to look exactly the same as wheat or whatever. I think that's wheat. You know, you can mess about with the texture if you want to, come in and change the brightness of it or whatever else, make it perhaps maybe a bit brighter or a bit duller, or whatever to represent maybe dry grain, something like that for example, and then just go with that or whatever you choose to do. I'm just going to leave it as it is for now. That's fine. Doesn't really matter to me. The actual name is going to be the fill type name is going to be dried grain, so the texture is not overly important as far as that goes. So now that I've saved all of that, I can get rid of the i3D and i3D shapes for that one and just keep what I need. So that should be good. I've got my fill planes HUD, fill planes HUD. Yeah, that should be good, and then I've got all that set up. So again, you know, depending on what you want to actually have on the category name, if we go back to the script here, in here it actually shows you what category names you can actually have. So if you wanted to set this up where it will go in a train wagon, an auger wagon, and whatever else, you might want to potentially add those in. So I might say I want to add it maybe to fork, and I could then do train wagon if I want to sell it, you know, put it on the train wagon to sell it somewhere. So I could add that in there as well, and then auger wagon perhaps. So, and make sure you put a space between each one of them, so it's just it knows what it actually is. If you put them all together with no spaces, it will just be one big jumble of words or letters, and it won't understand what you're trying to ask it to do. Everything else there I think is okay, so we'll go with that. So we've got some good category names there: bulk, fork, train wagon, auger wagon, so you can put them in any form of whatever they come under, and that's fine. So let's go ahead and save that, and I'm pretty sure we're getting quite close now to actually finishing this up, if I've got everything where it's meant to be. So I think what I'm going to do then is I'm actually going to get this imported into a map and then set it up and hopefully get it all working. So what I'm probably going to do here is just literally copy the folder over into some location within a map folder structure. Potentially if I was going to, you know, actually do this for, you know, actually making a map or whatever else, I might want to have a bit more optimization and keep all the shaders in one folder, and the shed and the sounds and whatever else, and so on and so on, keep all the scripts together, and so forth. But I think for this, just to make it a little bit shorter, I'm just going to stuff it in one place and link everything to it from there. So I'm going to find a sample mod map of some description, and then I'll make an area and we'll get this imported and hopefully get it all working. Okay, so I've just got a sample mod map of Goldcrest Valley, so I'm just going to take that and let's just bring this folder straight in like that. That'll do, and then we can just link everything directly into here. That's okay. So the mod desk, going to need to copy the parts out of there and put into the mod desk for the map, so we'll do that first then. So extra source files, I'll generally put the extra source files below, so I'm going to take the L10N tags first and all the information there, put that just below the multiplayer section, and then I'm going to take the extra source files information and put that underneath there like so, and then the reg field types, we'll take that and put that somewhere down there like so, and then just bring it all together somewhere like something like that. There we go. Yeah, something like that. So we should have all the information there to do with the translations that I want to put on screen. Got our extra source files, and obviously the path file name there is going to be slightly different. I may actually move that folder just to keep that intact. These are going to be slightly different. I think I'll just point it to wherever I've put them. So I'm going to close that one down. So let's go maps, grain dryer, and scripts. So if I just bring that down, so maps, grain dryer, scripts, that should be fine. Yep, and then I'll just take a copy of all of that and put that in there like so. It's not the way I would normally do it, but just to keep everything perhaps maybe a little simpler, without messing about with all the other stuff. We'll just make these path file names meet wherever I've put the folder and whatever. So then again we're going to have for this it's going to be maps grain dryer. So I'll just copy that, so I have to type it again, and then fill planes. So that's that one, and then this one, what's that? That's the HUD. So that's going to be fill planes HUD. That's right. And then this one is going to be just fill planes. So I can again take that and paste there like so. Maps, grain dryer, fill planes. Okay, so that should be our path file names for not only our tip on ground stuff, our HUD and everything else there. That should be fine. Got all those script parts all set up there, so that should be good. So I'm going to go ahead and save that, and then we'll get the map opened up here in Giants Editor. And then I'll create an area somewhere, not too sure where exactly. I think I want it somewhere up by the store here, just to make it a little easier to get to. So maybe over here. Not entirely sure how big it's going to be when I bring it into the map. I think what I'll do is I'm going to import it first, and then try and find a space for it once I know how big it is. So let's get it into the map itself first of all then. And I'll just interactive placement. So yeah, it's actually quite big. The base plate I may resize and shrink down a little bit to suit. Perhaps I should have found a space before I hit record again. Never mind, doesn't matter. I think we'll just put it over here. Nice and easy. So let's just put it over here, that'll be fine. And then I'll just get rid of the field, or maybe shrink the field or something, I don't know. I'll just delete it. So yeah, I think what I'll do is I'm just going to delete the field, because I don't really care about the field. So we'll just delete the field, and then I'll just get rid of all the texture in there. So come into here and drain detail, square brush, make it really big, and just delete all of this. Something like that, there we go. And then what I will do is just level this up a little bit, so make the brush a bit smaller, go to replace, and Control R, which will take the height from here, and then I can make my brush a bit bigger again, and then just basically paint an area somewhere in here for it to fit. I'm not too fussed about getting it absolutely perfect for this. As long as I can get around the unit to test it out, make sure it works, that's good enough for this. Something like that, that'll do. And then I can just position this where I actually want it to be. Something like that should do just fine. Like I say, I may actually make that plate slightly smaller, but I won't do that now. I'm just going to make sure it works and everything, and then once you get to that part, once you know the unit actually works and everything is doing what it's meant to do, you can mess about the other stuff later on. So what we need to do then is our particle systems, the actual path file name here for the particle system file name is not going to match up anymore, because now it's in maps, grain dryer, and then PS. So we need to match that in. So it's going to be maps grain underscore dryer PS. So that's that one done, that's fine. I'm going to hit tab and lock that in. The other stuff should be fine. Shouldn't need to mess about with any of that stuff. Sounds, it will automatically sort that out for me anyway on the import, so I don't need to mess about with any of that. Everything in there should be okay, I believe. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay, so next thing we need to do then is change the script itself, because at the moment it's set up to use the fabric script, and I'm not using the fabric script, so we need to change that in there. So I'm just going to come back to the scripts folder here, and then take the mCompany factory name from there, make a copy of it, come into here, and I'll delete the fabric script and then just paste in mCompany like so. So we've got mod on create mCompany factory instead of fabric script, and that will then link everything together in there. So that should be good as well. I'll go ahead and save that. I'll tell you what, while I'm actually in the Giants editor here, let's come over to the cell point over here, and I'm going to come into here and just change this so it's pointing towards my map01.xml for the town bakery. I'll go ahead and save that again. And then what I'm going to do is come into the map01 and town bakery. I'll make a new line there, copy that one, that's fine, paste that in. And then what I want to do is take the fill type from here, just to make sure it's spelt the same. So we'll make a copy of that, come into here and overwrite that. So now theoretically then at the town bakery I'll be able to sell dried grain. So I just wanted to put that in there while I was in the editor and whatever else. So that should be good there. Obviously I based this off of a different mod which had some extra parts which I have not included with this. There are some indexes which are still set up in the user attributes, and it's trying to locate those and then causing a problem. So if we actually come into here under the tip triggers, you can see that there are some user attributes with trigger indexes and moving indexes, and I no longer have those moving indexes because I deleted the moving plane because I didn't need it. So our tip trigger index is correct for 2, but this moving index no longer exists. The actual shovel target index is set up okay, but everything else is out of whack. So what we need to do is remove some of these user attributes to prevent that error from coming up. So the actual move min max, we don't need those. The moving index we don't need, and also the not move back, don't need that one either, because that's to do with the actual moving plane as well, because that sound file is no longer going to be in the same place, because now it's going to be maps, grain dryer, and then sounds. So let's change that while we're here. Maps, grain underscore dryer. There we go, that should be better. I think I may be missing a script. I'm just going to have a look, and we'll come back in a minute and I'll update you then. Yes, the answer is yes. I was missing a script. I need to add this one in, the new material holder Lua script. That's one I actually forgot to do. So I need to actually put that into there as well, because this is going to be, I've already applied the text here, material holder for grain dryer, placeable, but it's not placeable. This is a mod that I was actually messing around with to make a placeable from the grain dryer previously, but need to change the path file names in here. So I'm just going to take that and then actually type in there grain dryer like that, spell it the way I spelt it right from the beginning. So this one is going to be, let's have a look. So it should be apps grain dryer fill planes material holder. That should be, yeah, that should be right. Yeah, so that's just basically my error again. I forgot to add this script into the actual mod itself. This script is required to actually load in this new material holder that I've created here with all of the parts, which is why we won't get in the particle effect from the silo trigger. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and then but what I need to do is adjust or add that to the mod desk here in the extra source files. So I'm going to just make a new line there, add that one in, and then take the name from there and put it into there like so. So yeah, need those scripts to get all that working, with this one being the one that I've forgot to add in. So I can go ahead and save that now, close that down. Okay, so let's give this another go. I've made a few adjustments. I brought down the displays there, and I actually made them slightly larger, so make them a little easier to actually see. And I've repositioned all of the fans and everything, so they now should be in the right places, and the particles and all the rest of it should be where they need to be. Moment of truth though, do we actually get a particle effect from this silo now? Yes, we do. Look at that, fantastic. So yeah, just needed that extra script, the new material holder script, to actually link all of that together.